JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, teenager shot dead in Westmoreland. A 17-year-old boy was shot dead in Westmoreland on Tuesday night. He has been identified as Leonardo Long, a resident of Smithfield District. Reports are that about 8:30 p.m., residents heard gunfire in the community. The body of the teenager was found on a dirt track during a search on Wednesday morning. The police are investigating the development. Farmer killed on the job in St. Elizabeth. A manhunt has been launched by the police for a gunman who shot and killed a farmer in the Orton area of St. Elizabeth on Wednesday. The deceased has been identified as 32-year-old Alex Morgan of Orton District. Initial reports are that sometime after 1 p.m., Morgan and other men were working on his farm when they were approached by a gunman. The hoodlum opened fire, hitting Morgan several times before fleeing the scene. The wounded farmer was assisted to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. No motive for the gun attack has yet been established by the police. Investigations are ongoing into the incident. Careless robber gets 9-month prison sentence. A 23-year-old robber was stopped by police after leaving his conditions of bail book at the scene of a crime in Exchange, Ocherous, in February, was sentenced to 9 months in prison when he appeared in the St. Anne's Bay Parish Court on Tuesday. Javier Amos pleaded guilty to charges of housebreaking and larceny. The police report that on Monday, February 1, the complainant, said to be a pastor, locked and left his property about 12:15 p.m. When he returned, sometime after 4 p.m., he realized that his house had been broken into and ransacked. The thief escaped with US $900, a gray laptop, and other items totaling more than US $2,200. The robber also took 11,100 Jamaican dollars and a gold-plated watch valued at 6,000 Jamaican dollars. To leave your house and return to see that someone went inside is a gross violation. Senior Parish Court Judge Stanley Clark, who presided over the case, told Amos's attorney who had pleaded for his client to be given a reduced sentence. Amos, a landscaper for an Ocherous address, was picked up on February 5 and charged after investigations proved that a conditions of bail book found on the crime scene was his. He had denied being involved in the burglary and told the court that he had lost the book. The court was not told what Amos had been charged with when he was granted bail. Indicom probing fatal shooting by police on Maxfield Avenue. The Independent Commission of Investigations, Indicom, is probing the fatal shooting of a man by the police on Maxfield Avenue in Kingston on Tuesday. A 17-year-old boy was also shot and an illegal gun seized. About 4:30 p.m., the police went to a restaurant on Maxfield Avenue in search of wanted men. The cops reportedly confronted 2 men at the back of the property. It's alleged that one of the men pulled a weapon and attempted to use the teenager as a human shield. A member of the police team reportedly opened fire, hitting the 2 individuals. The man was pronounced dead at hospital and the teenager admitted. A pistol was reportedly seized in the incident. 4-year-old says dad beat him for falling off bed. A St. Andrew man was remanded in custody yesterday after the judge heard allegations that he abused his 4-year-old child for falling off the bed. The accused man pleaded not guilty to cruelty to a child when he appeared in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court before Chief Parish Judge Chester Crooks yesterday. Allegations contained in the police report that was read out in court are that on Sunday, July 18, the child went to visit his grandfather when a neighbor noticed bruises on the child's torso. The grandfather, who is the accused man's father, said he asked his son what caused the marks on the child's body, but he could not get an answer from him as he began behaving aggressively. The grandfather said he reported the incident to the police. He said that he made his own checks and concluded that his son was not responsible for the injuries. That, however, is in stark contrast with what the child allegedly told police. That he beat me with belt. Him wake me up and beat me because me drop off of the bed, the child told the police, according to the statement. After hearing the child's statement, the judge was incensed. He ordered a psychiatric evaluation for the accused man and a fingerprint order was made. He was also remanded in custody until September 1.
Start the piece of generator and the big old water. The school of fire, I tell us every day, I have to run up here. You see smoke? Suffocate everywhere. No, that's the smoke in the norm already. I have to run out. All the fire brigade them and choke.
Fire at Hydel group of schools, 4 fire units and several firefighters responded to a blaze at the Hydel group of schools in Ferry, St. Catherine. The fire was restricted to the administrative block. The blaze reportedly started at 7 this morning. It is unclear what caused the blaze. No one was injured in the blaze. Investigations are now being carried out by the fire brigade to ascertain the cause of the fire and to determine the cost of the damage. Cops say fear of sex as an enabling role in criminal activities. More women are aiding the illicit activities of criminals in the corporate area, according to 2 police division commanders. Their involvement, the cops stated, serves as a comfort to wanton criminals who continue to wreak havoc in society. They are the ones who stay on the corners and use their phones to tell their guys about the whereabouts of the police. Oftentimes you go on an operation, they serve as distractors. They try to do everything, make noise, hurl stones at the police and mount protest just to distract us from our focus, said Superintendent Michael Phipps, commanding officer for the Kingston West Division. Phipps said that these women, usually the mothers and girlfriends of the wanted men, will take on the role of their handlers in order for them to evade the police. From time to time we get information that the women will sometimes transport the guns. So what we seek to do at all times is to have female cops that can search females when we have them coming across our checkpoints or whatever, he said. Superintendent Kirk Ricketts, who is in charge of St. Andrew South, adds that the involvement of the women makes it very difficult for his officers to get a grip on crime and violence. Women are key components of what is happening. A lot of the shootings and killings are being driven by the activities of women. They cook, wash clothes, offer sex, hide guns, demonstrating the police act against these criminals, he said. This makes policing extremely difficult. It's like policing an entire community as opposed to a gang. The involvement of women doesn't necessarily mean that they're jumping out of cars and firing at the police, but this seems to be growing as generations change. Meanwhile, Ricketts said that 2 women were apprehended after Tuesday's shootout between gunmen and the police in Riverton Meadows, St. Andrew, are still in custody. He said they are facing charges of illegal possession of firearms and shooting with intent. During the incident, 3 men were killed as the police attempted to intercept 2 vehicles in the Gullybunk area in the community. The police said that 2 illegal guns and several rounds of ammunition were recovered. PM Holness likely to announce new COVID measures next week amid uptick in infections. New COVID-19 restrictions are likely to be announced next Tuesday, amid what Prime Minister Andrew Holness says could be the early stage of a 3rd wave of infections in the country. The government is reconsidering the measures just 3 weeks after announcing new ones, including the reopening of the entertainment sector. The current measures are set to expire on August 10. However, Mr. Holness told the House of Representatives on Wednesday afternoon that the Cabinet Subcommittee on COVID-19 will be meeting this weekend to discuss how to respond to the uptick in cases and to consider whether there may be a need to tighten some of the measures in advance of August 10. Mr. Holness said given last year's surge associated with the Emancipation and Independence holidays, the Cabinet Subcommittee will be paying close attention to that period. He said with the current protocols in place, large events should be controlled. However, additional measures might be needed for small community events to ensure they do not contribute to a spike. The Health Minister reported that 122 cases of COVID-19 were detected on Tuesday, with a positivity rate of 16.1%. Mr. Holness noted that there has been a spike in COVID-19 cases in July compared to June. He said this includes an increase in the positivity rate. Our average positivity rate for the last 7 days was 8.8%, and for week 29, the positivity rate so far is 9.9%. As the graph shows, this puts us in the high transmission range. You will recall that our target is to get our positivity rate down to 5% or below. We're almost doubling that now, he pointed out. Mr. Holness noted that while the country had managed To maintain a reproductive rate of below 1% for 16 weeks, it has now gone up to 1.1%. He said the parishes of Hanover and Westmoreland are experiencing the greatest level of spreading cases based on population size. Cases in those parishes are reportedly 2 or 3 times higher than in Kingston and St. Andrew. Over the past 7 days, Hanover and Westmoreland recorded 107 new cases, whilst Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine combined recorded 197 new cases yesterday, the Prime Minister outlined. Mr. Holness also dismissed the notion that the government's decision to reopen various sectors of the economy may have contributed to the spike. He argued that opening up the economy and maintaining a low infection rate are both achievable at the same time, adding that it is possible to go about your normal daily activities but to do so in a safe way. But he blamed indiscipline, complacency, and a lack of diligence in observing the protocols as factors in the uptick in COVID-19 cases. He urged Jamaicans to decide whether to go about our activities in a disciplined and cautious way, keep our economy open, and earn our livelihoods, or whether we want the path of indiscipline, which will inevitably lead to a spike, forcing us to tighten measures. The Prime Minister also warned that it would be wishful thinking not to accept the highly transmittable Delta variant of COVID-19 to reach Jamaica, since it is now the dominant variant globally. Jamaica records 138 new COVID cases as infections continue to rise. COVID-19 cases continue to rise as Jamaica recorded 138 new cases on Wednesday. This brings the total number of confirmed cases in the island to 51,542, of which 3,248 are active. The Ministry of Health and Wellness also reported 4 additional virus-related deaths. 3 of the deaths were recorded in St. James, a 57-year-old man, a 75-year-old man, and a 72-year-old woman whose death was formerly under investigation. A 64-year-old man from Kingston and St. Andrew also died. Of the 138 newly reported cases, there were 85 females and 53 males, with ages ranging from 4 days to 97 years. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew, 51, St. James, 32, St. Elizabeth, 17, Manchester, 12, Clarendon, 7, Westmoreland, 5, St. Catherine and Hanover, 4 each, Trelawney and St. Mary, 2 each, Portland and St. Anne, 1 each. The country also recorded 22 recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 46,773. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.